A strange link is developing between PlayStation 5 Pro and Nintendo Switch Pro, and we're going to dive into all that and a lot more. So, good morning, Mario, and good morning, Switch fans. Oh, I got the Peach mug. It's been months of yearning. Super Nintendo World was sold out of everything Peach, but I found it. There literally was none on the internet, nowhere, anywhere. And finally, I was able to order one and get one. Someone picked one up for me from a pickup service at Universal Studios Hollywood. They did a restock of Peach, and it is just magnificent. I now have the full set of these mugs, and they're beautiful. They say Super Nintendo World on one side, Universal Studios, and they have the character on the other. They have their name on the inside, and their logo is at the bottom, but it's below my drink right now, so you cannot see it. But anyways, what's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. We got a lot to cover, and so I'm going to jump right in with kind of just, I want to give you a night's sleep take on yesterday, what happened. There was an Indie World presentation, and I was kind of left stunned, and I probably shouldn't have been. The Indie Worlds have not been great for a bit now, and any hopes and dreams of like some massive game just probably aren't going to happen at this point in the Switch's life cycle. Now, I don't think it was unrealistic to hope for Pepper Grinder or Gunbrella or something of that sort, and I do think the show was really lackluster. The big thing I want to convey, though, is not, we needed better games, they should have released more, Nintendo should or shouldn't do this. I just think that to best serve the indies present in Indie World, Nintendo needs to revitalize these shows by either having less of them, so they're a bigger deal, or by putting them as like non-announced videos on Twitter. I think there is a negative humglum over the Indie Worlds that permeates out to the games that probably don't deserve it. It's not to say that the games there were terrible, it's just that there wasn't anything really awesome that we would have really hoped for or been excited about. I mean, I guess the bottom line here is like Nintendo, rework Indie World. It hasn't worked for a couple of them now, and in general, the entire concept of announcing indie games 6, 8, 12 months before they come out seems utterly pointless. People have a hard time remembering big retail games that come out a specific day or month, let alone an indie title, while they're already frustrated that you didn't show off something that they were hoping for or wanted, or that you've said was announced before. Indie World is like a perpetual machine of constantly further and further out release dates, and we never actually get anything. I don't know. I find it to be very frustrating as a player. I don't know if you agree, you can let me know, but like I guess the bottom line is just like don't get your hopes up for Indie World at all. Treat it like I don't know who it's for. I don't know. I don't know who would find that awesome. But okay, anyways, there's more news, and there's actually new stuff. I just wanted to get that off my chest a little bit. By the way, we do have our limited edition episode 500 merch. The SwitchForce Good Morning Tarot cards are live and available. There's t-shirts, there's hoodies, there's mugs, there's stickers. Everybody that picks one up gets entered to win a Steam Deck or a Switch OLED. Pretty awesome part of the show, and also just amazing design. The tarot cards look fantastic, and I think it's like the coolest thing to rep from the channel and from the show's existence. 500 episodes strong. Thank you for making that possible. Let's talk about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. All right, they got a new patch. And there's a big problem with these patches because we're now into April, 5 months post-launch, and we're not really getting the patches that we thought we would get. I wanted to bring this up because I love Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. It's the most fun I've had with a Pokemon game probably since Red, honest to goodness. They just dropped version 1.3.0, and it has things like it fixes some Terra battle issues, it fixes Zoroark and battles issues, it fixes Pokemon Go connectivity, it has support for trainers who caught an egg instead of Walking Wake or Iron Leaves in Terra raids. There's some other battle bug fixes, but the big missing here is like performance is not being addressed. You can take this one of two ways. You can either say, okay, Nintendo and Game Freak and Pokemon Company just, they don't want to invest in fixing it. They don't think it's really worth it after they've sold 30 million copies or whatever. Or these games physically cannot perform better on Switch. Now, it's not one-to-one, right? Like just because something bigger and more bombastic, better graphics could run, the way that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are developed and made and built, maybe they just can't. Maybe this is as good as it gets. I do have to say I expected by this point we would have a big patch that really basically like, tied off all the loose ends, tightened up the game, locked in the screws, made sure that they got the pliers and the wrenches and the drills and really just cemented this as, hey, it plays great. I still think that the game is fully awesome, and my gut tells me that Nintendo doesn't feel it's worth going through and fixing because it's selling so well. I could be completely wrong, but that's just my gut reaction. I don't know that this moves the needle, though. Like, I don't know that them not fixing it really does anything negative to the Pokemon franchise. I feel like people have kind of forgotten about the fact that it performs poorly. If you're still playing the game, you've probably gotten used to it or gotten over it, and they're probably getting close to a DLC announcement this summer in the next couple of months. That is where I guess we'll see, like, does the lack of performance updates and frame rate fixes, has it hurt them? Will people react negatively to a DLC drop and say, like, hey, fix your darn game first? Or is everyone kind of over that and have accepted that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet just run a little slugma in the gears, right? It's just a little bit mucked up in there, if you catch my drift. Let me know in the comments if you are bothered, or if you think it's fine, or if you think, even if you don't play Pokemon, like, is this a catastrophic error on Nintendo's part not to do due diligence and fix this? Let's get to the main story for today, though, which is Nintendo Switch 2, Nintendo Switch Pro, and how is it linked to PS5 Pro? A really interesting tweet came up from Sega Mega 99. Now, you might think, okay, this is a random person. Are we going to deal with one of those random leaks again? One of these people just claim something out of nowhere to gain popularity? No. So this person, Tamakichi, is a retail buyer for video game stores in Japan. So this person is making orders to get the games and get the new stuff. Like, if you didn't know, like, E3 used to be a big place, or plenty of different conventions. There's even GameStop conventions and whatnot, where, like, they come and make the deals for, like, you're going to order, you know, a bajillion copies of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet because despite its problems, people will buy it. Or a million copies of, you know, Zelda for your retail chain. Whatever it might be. So this person apparently has been discussed a few times before on the interwebs and has made posts a few times before, and people in the industry know who they are. Like, this is a known quantity, a person that actually does do retail buying for video game stores in Japan. They're intentionally vague because since they are known, they don't want to get in trouble. But they tweeted out something very interesting, which is Switch Pro, PS5 Pro. Switch Pro, PS5 Pro. And we've heard rumors about a PS5 Pro, and I want to start there. I think that helps make the most sense. Insider Gaming, Tom Henderson, who is a pretty reliable source and posts things that I think seem very well vetted, he had an article back in mid-March about the PS5 Pro coming late 2024. So if you thought Switch Pro, PS5 Pro right next to each other meant like they're both coming out, unlikely. Now, the two don't have to be tied together in any sort of release date fashion, but it's interesting to note that there are other PlayStation models that are supposed to be dropping. Remember, there is a PlayStation 5 model that doesn't have a disc drive. Then there's Sony's like weird handheld thing that seems to be like it can play stuff, AirPlay from the PS5. A lot of weird hardware in the works. So is Sega Mega talking about the PS5 Pro, like big next step, or a new PS5 piece of hardware that he is looking to acquire for his stores? It's unclear. But what is clear is that Switch Pro is included in there. Now, I don't think that Switch Pro is, you know, supposed to be like taken as like that's the name of the console. I think it's supposed to be that both of these are approaching in some capacity. Now, you could believe that it's PS5 Pro late 2024 and Switch Pro 2024, or you could believe that this is more in line with the PS5 minus the disc drive and a Switch 2 that more and more people are feeling comes later this year. I think more and more as time goes on, and as we do not have any further announcements from Nintendo, it seems even more plausible that they do drop a console the second half of the year. Remember, we are coming up on Zelda, and then it's just Pikmin, and there's nothing else announced, and that's never been the case, and they're jam-packing in the first half of the year. They got Advance Wars, they got the Xenoblade DLC, they put out Kirby. They could have easily held some of these ports, or the full story DLC for Xenoblade Chronicles 3, until the summer, until the early fall, and justified, hey, that'll cover our butts because we have a very light slate. Yet they have not done that. And we're looking at kind of a D-Day coming up in May when they do have an investors meeting, a shareholders call, because people are going to ask. Shareholders are going to want to know what the heck is going on. You have Pikmin 4. And we know Zelda is going to sell a bunch, so maybe the investors won't be too upset. But still, they love to know the future of the company. They love to ask. They're always asking questions about next hardware, new games, and Nintendo should have an answer. That answer might be very vague, but I'm hoping that we can glean some sort of actual Nintendo speak from that will help us determine what's actually going on for the second half. Then if nothing is specifically revealed there, I don't think they're going to drop like a Switch 2 announcement or a big new Mario game announcement at a shareholders call. Then June, the following month, will be kind of the next D-Day. If they do not have a direct, if they do not have any sort of showcase, if they do not have any big presentation, what is going on? And in some ways, the more time that passes, the more worrisome it gets. But in other ways, the more time that passes, the more it seems like there is a big plan at play. You really cannot go until July and have nothing announced. If it's a normal Switch year and they're just trying to, keep the game spooky and mysterious, you cannot go till July, end of July, July 20th with Pikmin 4 and say like, oh, now we're going to talk about what's coming in the fall. You just can't do that. It doesn't work for retailers. It does not work for gamers. It does not work for streams and Keeley, and it doesn't work for guys like Sega Mega who are buying for stores. If Nintendo is trying to withhold to avoid leaks, then more power to them. I love surprises. But it's interesting that this retail buyer, who we know is confirmed to be someone who does this for a living, is mentioning a PlayStation console and a Nintendo console. Two new ones, no date, very vague, but like, are they coming soon? And I think the answer is absolutely. It's just how soon are they coming? Soon like spring 2024 or soon like, oh my gosh, November of this year? We still do not have enough pieces of the puzzle to make a definitive guess. I just feel like more and more things are lining up. Based on Nintendo's decisions, based on how things are going, it just really feels like there's more than, we have not much to show. Zelda can carry you, yes, but a big company that has millions and billions of dollars at stake and tons of shareholders and a fluctuating stock price does not just say, well, Switch sales are going down, but Zelda's here, so we'll kick it. If they were going to do that, they would have lightened the load in the first half and shifted some of this stuff to the second half, so something doesn't add up here. And now with this added piece of the buyer uncle, as he's being referred to online, the bunkle, we'll refer to him from here on out as the Bunkle. Bunkle talking about PS5 Pro and Switch Pro adds a little more flame to the fire that was already started by the Pokemon Presents leaker and has since been kind of ignited by more and more of Nintendo's decisions and more sort of random sources out there. We can't trust all of them, but usually where there's smoke, there's fire, and all we need is like a big scoop. One big scoop, and I'll feel really great about this. For now, though, it still stands firmly in rumor territory, and I have no idea what Nintendo does next. I know that the indie world kind of stunk. I know that directs have been hit or miss. Nintendo could use a win. They don't need one. They're financially in great shape, but at the same time, this is a business. They're always out to make more money. They're not out to coast. So something is going to happen. Something of substance, whether it's a direct that just announces a bunch of games for the second half of the year, a new console presentation, or a massive apology from the entire staff with a big bow at the end. I don't know. Let me know what your guess is in the comments down below. In the meantime, I love my peach mug. I love you guys even more. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. Let me know what you think of the merch in the comments down below. I love the new tarot cards and the creepy, kind of looks like a familiar character logo, but not quite. Also our new Zelda logo and our Zelda banner that's coming. It's going to be awesome. In the meantime, thanks again, everybody. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. SwitchForce out.